Thanks for staying with us. The High Court in Pretoria has heard that soccer star Senzo Meyiwa would have only survived for seconds or minutes after the fatal bullet entered his body. Pathologist Dr Johannes Steenekamp, who conducted the postmortem 2 days after Meyiwa was killed, testified in the Meyiwa trial this morning. Now, SABC News Reporter Chriselda Lewis has been tracking this story for us and joins us live now for an update. Chriselda, some chilling details there emerging.
Absolutely, Bongi. We're chilling details emerging in court today about how Meyiwa could have possibly tried to push the gun away, which had been pressed against his chest, with the bullet moving through his body in a downward trajectory away from the midline of his body. So now, according to Dr. Johannes Steenekamp, after Meyiwa was shot, he suffered severe internal bleeding. Steenekamp, who you indicated conducted that post-mortem, found that the soccer star was shot at close range and that the cause of death was consistent with a contact bullet entrance wound. Let's take a listen.
Situated just below the skin, blackened granular material consistent with gunshot residue are noted in the underlying soft tissue. So when I opened this wound and explored it, I noted this black granular material, and then in brackets I came to a conclusion following the examination of this wound. I said this wound is consistent with a contact bullet entrance wound.
And as a result of that gunshot, Bongiwe, at close range, the bullet bruised, we hear from Steenekamp, the upper lobe of the lung and tore the lower one, which caused bleeding into the soft tissue, leaving his right lung partially collapsed. Let's take a listen to what Steenekamp had to say there.
The right lung is pale and partially collapsed. That's due to the injury. And the left lung is congested on section. The blood vessels there are still a bit full of blood.
And doctor, the fact that the right lung was pale, is that indicative of anything?
Well, the lung was injured, so it's blood loss basically.
Severe blood loss, that's what we heard. Steenekamp, who conducted that autopsy, revealing that there had been resuscitation attempts, Bongiwe. Remember, Meyiwa had been taken to the Butsilong hospital by several of the occupants that were inside the house. Steenekamp says there were ECG stickers found on his chest. But Steenekamp testified that it was too late for that resuscitation. Meyiwa did not survive long after being shot.
Are you able to give an indication of, given the clinical picture that you've just outlined, how long the deceased would have survived after the infliction of the wound?
He probably would have survived seconds, minutes, definitely not hours.
Not much cross-examination today, but in cross-examination by Advocate Charles Mnisi, who represents accused number 3, Bongiwe, he shared different scenarios that were made out by some of the witnesses who took the stand, in particular those inside the house. Steenekamp says it's not possible that Meyiwa was shot from the back. Let's take a listen.
One version from the eyewitnesses who were in the house is that the person who had a firearm was behind the deceased. In view of your analysis and your conclusion that a shot could have been fired from an angle of depression, does the second scenario also accord with your finding?
No, it does not, no.
From that crucial testimony to crucial testimony tomorrow, Bongi, where we're expecting a ballistics expert to take the stand, and he's expected to give evidence on the gun linked to Meyiwa's death. That certainly should be very interesting, starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
And definitely very interesting, as we'll possibly get to hear more details about this weapon, what it looks like, what it may have been, what kind of bullet would it, probably have produced. But Chriselda, we'll leave it up to you as you bring us that wrap tomorrow, giving us a sense of what happened in court. That was SABC News reporter Chriselda Lewis.